and we are now live streaming, so we're good to go. So I'll call us to order, 102. The agenda, does anyone have any changes for the agenda today? All good? Can I get somebody to approve the agenda? Oh, that was a race. Terry, I think you made her first. All in favor? Perfect, approved. And the minutes. Does anyone have any changes to the minutes that were sent out? Yeah, good. Can I get someone to approve the minutes as well? Awesome, thanks, Sandra. All right, so we are moving right into business. So mental health engagement. Oh, feels like so long since we met last month. So much has happened since then. But just to refresh everyone's memory, we were having discussions around Mental Health Week and doing something at that time fairly big and grandiose and getting the whole community involved from May 3rd to May 9th. Our goal was to get organizations involved, mini events, just really pump up Mental Health Week. In that time, as you all know, there's just been an incredible shift in our community in terms of COVID, increase in numbers. The last numbers I heard is we had 137 cases in Cochrane a month ago. I don't even know where we were sitting, but I want to say it was under 20 for a period of time there. So we've seen a bit of an explosion and an increase in restrictions as well since our last meeting. So in response, we've kind of had to shift our approach a little bit and not be promoting as much as the grandiose event gatherings, those kind of things, and more promoting the mental health piece to individuals and families and cohorts to kind of come up with activities and promote their own mental health. So just a bit kind of an overview of how things have shifted and changed, and like everybody else in the world, we've had to adapt our plans a little bit as well. At our last meeting, we did establish 3 different committees. So we had a David Irvine committee, a communication committee, and a sponsorship committee. So I thought that we would start by just having our committees give some of the updates on where things are at. So maybe we'll start with the David Irvine committee. I don't know if you want to jump in, Susan, and provide a bit of an overview.
I could start, Kim, and then you could add in because you've done more work since I talked to you last. But David is excited about contributing back to the community. Now that the restrictions are in place, I guess he's just going to tape it from his office and there won't be an audience in place, but we can promote the heck out of it and tape it and reuse it. And he's a valuable resource, donating his time. So I'm excited about that. Kim, what else have you done since?
Oh my gosh, Nicole might be a better one to jump in. I'm at home and I only have one screen, so I can't have his poster and all the information up at one time. I'm kind of missing having my setup. We have worked with communications and we have a poster developed. Nicole, can you jump in and remind me of the name? It's amazing.
Oh, Shara's here. Bouncing it. Let me grab it. Sorry. It was David that came up with it.
Yeah, it's so good. It kind of kicks off the theme that we were talking about. I think Susan might have brought it up, but bouncing forward.
Yeah.
It was actually your May that first mentioned. Right. I got excited about it. I thought it was a great name.
Bouncing forward into well-being. A kickoff to Mental Health Week in Cochrane.
So we are going to have him May 3rd, which is the Monday for Mental Health Week, and he's got lots of really great ideas. He's going to start out just acknowledging where we're all at and giving us some tips and ideas to just be mentally healthy. get through this, band with our people. I don't have a lot of words for it. I'm not doing him very good justice, but he's got a.
Is
Oh,
the poster completed? Sorry. Can we
Uh,
share?
I don't have the poster yet. Still waiting for it from Julie for that. So should get it soon.
He sent us a very long, complicated outline. So did you guys narrow it down?
I narrowed it down a little bit and to send it to Julie, and then I'm sure she'll shorten it a little bit. It was hard to narrow it down because it was so good. It was very comprehensive. But what I have is, even in times of extreme anxiety, stress, and frustration, mental health is something we can protect, not just something we can lose. Take this opportunity to step back, be uplifted, and gain a new perspective on your life from one of Canada's most respected voices on authentic leadership and mental health. So
He's a very inspiring speaker. So in terms of what we need from the committee is, as soon as we get the poster ready, if you can share it out far and wide to all of your contacts. Let's get as many people as we can on. Originally, when we talked to David, we were hoping to do a combination of in-person and virtual, because he really wanted to present to some real people. But with the new restrictions in place, we had to go complete virtual. But in saying that, there are benefits to the virtual piece, because we'll be able to share out his recording after as well. So throughout Mental Health Week and throughout the month of May, we'll be able to post it, and hopefully we'll get more viewers as well.
That reminds me, communications really wanted to make it a whole month, not just a week. So stretching it out a bit and not rushing to get everything done.
Yeah. You've led into the second committee update, Susan. In terms of the communication committee, it was myself, Terry, Susan, and Nicole on that one. I don't know if anyone wants to jump in and provide a bit of an overview of some of the things that we talked about. Or I can keep going.
You can do it.
you take it.
So much share some of the talking today, you guys.
You are, Kim, sorry, you are breaking up a little bit. I don't know if it's on is it just me?
It's you that's breaking up, I think, Nicole.
Okay, I'm coming through okay. I'm home. I actually asked my kids, just stay off the internet for an hour and a half, please, so my wireless doesn't get all complicated. We met with Julie, the Town of Cochrane Communications Advisor, and ran our plan by her a little bit. And like Susan said, she recommended taking it from just a week to a month, and thought we could do a whole lot in a month period instead of just limiting it to those 7 days. So we're going to do that with the emphasis on May 3rd to May 9th. And in that period, we're going to be promoting positive things you can do for your mental health. So she's going to come up with some graphics that can be put in the newspaper, out on social media. Very similar to I don't know if people remember the 10 things you can do ad. So it'll be very similar to that, but it'll be more centered around mental health and staying active and mentally well. So that's all in the works. We're also going to create some Facebook events as well for Mental Health Week. And Nicole, if I'm saying this wrong, do feel free to jump in and correct me, because this is out of my wheelhouse. But we'll be creating 2 events. One will be specifically for David Irvine to help get the word out. And apparently, if you have a Facebook event, it can be shared further and wider, and it starts to generate more excitement and interest. So watch for that one on Facebook. And we're also going to be creating an event around Mental Health Week, month, whatever that's going to look like. And on that event, we're going to have a separate kind of page created where we're going to share mental health tips every single day. So we've already gathered 31 tips that'll be going out on a daily basis. We are going to be sending out a message to organizations. We still wanted to find a way to get organizations involved. So we will be sending out an email inviting organizations to be co-hosts of this page. And I'm going to try to explain it, and Nicole will correct me if I explain it wrong and then tell you the right thing. But I believe as a co-host, that gives you the opportunity to help manage the page. So it'll link back to your own Facebook page as an organization, and your whole population that follows you is going to be able to see all the tips that come out, all the information that comes out. As an event, people can post on it, they can post pictures, we can do a call for like, post your stuff, tell us what you're doing, how you're staying mentally well, those kind of things. So that call will be going out, I believe, the end of April. That last week of April, we'll be putting a call out for co-hosts and creating the event page, and then that page will go live on May the 3rd. Am I right? Or May 1st?
May 3rd. Yeah, we were going to do it that day. And then I'm hoping I can send out the co-host email a little bit sooner potentially, and get people interested. And then that last week of April, we can say, if you haven't reached out yet, it's your last chance kind of thing. Pump it out a little.
Yeah, that was our way of trying to get organizations involved. Originally, we wanted to focus on organizations and have them hold events, but kind of our rationale for this is every organization has different followers that follow their page. So if we can get a whole group of different organizations to be co-hosts, we'll hopefully hit youth, seniors, like all the different groups in Cochrane will be getting all this information and the tips and strategies. Susan.
I just wanted to mention we had a meeting with the community associations last night, so I brought it up, and I did say, well, if you can think of a way to do something that's really safe outdoors in your community, I encouraged them to, and I told them that they'd be hearing more from us. So if you want me to send something out, or if you guys can make sure that whatever you put together goes out to them, that would be awesome.
You could send the email for co-hosting to the community association pages, which would be awesome because they have a huge group of followers as well.
Good.
Any thoughts or anything that we may have missed in either David Irvine or communications?
Kim, just a note, is there anything that you need us to do as a committee besides share the information within everybody? If you have a list of things that need to get done, we could jump in.
I think I'd have to defer to Nicole on that. She makes the to-do lists and tells me what I need to do every day. But what we can do is if there is anything, we can definitely send it out and we can correspond by email as well. I think the biggest part is going to be just helping us get the word out, especially with David. We want to make sure that we have a big group. So send it out to all of your contacts. We're going to share this one as well. Nicole and I talked about our FCSS distribution list across the province. So we did that with Jody Carrington and had a huge impact like throughout the province. So we're going to share it as far and wide as we can, and hopefully we have lots and lots of people watching, and as many people as we can on the night. So I'd encourage everybody to watch live if you can, because it helps as a speaker to know that there's an actual like group of people that are listening to you right at that time. It makes it easier than just having an audience of a few numbers. So just getting the word out is probably one of the biggest things. And then I guess our final One is sponsorship. I don't know if anyone has any update on sponsorship. We talked originally. I can't see Shara, so
My video is already off, so we're taking in everything that you're saying and making a plan to move forward with.
well, what we can do is we can not do sponsorship. If that's what we want to do, I'm okay with that. We hadn't heard anything, so we didn't include anything in communications. There's no expectations of the community that grandiose prizes are available, but I'll open that up for conversation.
We can still work on it. We both, Lauren and I, are like, oh no, we've both been so busy in our organizations this last, not that everybody else hasn't as well, but we're like, we totally dropped the ball, honestly. But we still work on it.
Yeah.
Of the ball. Kim, I did follow up with the town to see if I could come up with some money for balls.
Yeah.
And it ended up that we were looking at stress balls because we can't throw and touch and whatever balls around town like I was hoping we could. And so the mayor said that he thinks he can get some money, but it has to come, the request has to come from the task force, not from me directly. For how much they want. And you said you could probably find a little bit of money. So I sent you guys an email today with the cheapest balls I could come up with.
Yeah, I saw that.
So
I like the idea of stress balls and handing them out. You know what actually just came into my head is, what about organizations that agree to co-host? They could have a supply of stress balls to give out there. That could be a bit of an incentive as well. And then to businesses. And
so we'd have to decide what we want to put on it for wording and stuff, but we can do that offline if you'd rather.
well, why don't we do some quick brainstorming here? Because people might have some good ideas. So we're looking at like the little tiny stress balls, right? And one, probably one saying on it. I saw you sent me a quote where you can have two different graphics. Would we just want one on there, or what are you thinking, Susan?
I didn't really think it through too much. We don't really have a logo other than the town logo, and we could put social recovery, but it's kind of wordy, isn't it? Or we could just put something like bouncing, what did we say before? Bouncing forward.
Into well-being.
Will be. What do you guys think? What would be meaningful a year from now if they look at their ball? The year might be helpful too, 2021. Bouncing back, bouncing forward, not back. We don't want to say back.
I like the bouncing forward because it's a ball too, so that fits.
Mhm. It's such a positive thing instead of bouncing back to reality or bouncing other ways. It's more positive.
I do like the year on it though, because it will kind of be a memorabilia. Like when we get through all of this, 2020 and 2021 are going to hold some pretty good memories and significance for everybody, right?
Is there a short clip about mental health that we could put? Take care of yourself, be well, something short that stands for what we're doing during this week. What was the sayings that they were using for the province again? Always forget.
Get real about how you feel.
And don't name it, or name it to numb it.
Name it, don't numb it, yeah. Kind of wordy.
I wonder, like, would it be beneficial to, I guess it's pretty long. Like I was gonna say the task force website or something on there too, where you can like, there's actual real resources and different things. I don't know if that would pique people. As a person, would you like actually look at a website or would you just be like,
What about the Cochrane Cares app or whatever we call it?
the name of it though, it would, I don't know if people would know because it's that weird website.
Yeah, I'll have that changed. When would we need the balls done by? Because I think it'll be changed by then.
How long will they take, Susan, to order?
It's only a few days once we make up our mind. So as long as we have them ready to go by the 3rd, I would think.
I would think we'd want to have them passed out to the groups and stuff for the
Friday.
3rd, no?
We could do the Friday before, which what would that be, the April 30th?
April 30th? Yeah, if we could get them back that week. I don't know how quick or long they'll take, but even if we could have them back like the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, it's just in Calgary and they said 3 or 4 days, so we got lots of time.
Okay.
So I can put that on my list to do right after this meeting. I can see what the time frame would be if that's something we want to explore.
What are the words going to be, Lauren?
It would be a more direct site. So without all the mumbo jumbo that's in there right now.
Have you got an idea of what it would be? I just want to draw it out here.
I don't, but I could for tomorrow for you.
Okay. So probably bouncing forward is enough with the date, and then that would be a lot on a little tiny ball, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Will they know from the name that it's a place they can go to get help, or?
It would probably be like CARES something, right, Lauren?
Yeah, I'm just not sure that what comes after CARES, if it has to, I think it might just be caresapp.ca or .com. I just have to verify that part, if there's something that would go before that. I can't remember if it had to go through a website or if he was purchasing a different domain. And I think he was purchasing a different domain. So it might just be caresapp.com as long as that's not taken. Or
Oh.
Cochrane Cares. Good deal.
What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, because it would have a pretty comprehensive list of like resources and services, and then I would encourage everyone to take a look at the app too, make sure your like info on there is all correct, and we can take a look and just make sure that it's like pretty robust if we're getting it out. I know we just looked at ours, Lauren, and got ours all up to date because we were out of date even on there. So
Yeah.
So do you think we should put the horse or anything on there since you're giving funding in, the town's giving funding?
the town would probably want, but that's a lot on a little ball then. That's a real lot.
We could probably get away without putting it on, I think.
I don't know if they're giving money to it though. We probably have to have some acknowledgement on there. Maybe we'll take this offline and we can do some like sketching out and stuff of it and send it out. We can maybe do like a rough draft, send it out to the task force for feedback and input. And
We could go to Peter first and make sure it's all going to fit on there.
it'll be like a giant beach ball stress ball that we're going to have to do.
That's
Could you put the town logo as where the O would be on Bounce Forward?
where what would be?
The O on Bounce.
Oh, look at you.
Me? I don't know if the town allows that. We'd have to go through communications and see.
I don't know if it would be big enough. They're so tiny. So the O isn't going to be very big unless we make it a capital. We can bring that forward though.
Yeah. So maybe, are you guys okay if Susan and I work together and come up with some ideas, and we'll fire it out to people for some feedback and other ideas? And then Lauren, if you would send us the name, we can do our best to see if we can get that incorporated, and we'll send our wish list off. It'll be the busiest stress ball in the world that we're sending out.
Maybe somebody should make a motion to approach the town for the money and say who's going to do the approaching.
So did you get information on what that looks like?
Not really, no.
Okay.
It can't just be me. It needs to come on the request on behalf of the task force.
And did they say who we like to, because we wouldn't have time to go forward to a council meeting.
Mike knows about it and he can find the money in one of his budgets, I think. So I don't know if you want to approach Mike, or do we have a vice chair?
No. Are you talking Mike Corman or Derek Cott?
Derek Cott.
Okay. Yeah, no, I can find out how to do that, Susan. I'll look after that piece.
Thank you. We need a motion just to have it on the books, or?
Yeah. Maybe. Does someone want to make the motion to approach the town for, is it 1,000 stress balls?
Really figured it out, but for up to $1,000 maybe, and then you could kick in what you had.
Sure.
Does that work?
Yeah. Did you make the motion, Susan?
Particularly my input. I was hoping someone else would like to make the motion.
I can do it.
Make the motion.
I make a motion that we approach the town of Cochrane for funding for 1,000 stress balls to distribute the week of starting May 3rd, mental health week, month.
It was $1,000, not 1,000 stress balls.
Oh, $1,000. Okay.
Amendment.
That won't give us 1,000 stress balls. Hey, they're not $1 a piece.
No,
$1,000.
Yeah.
we're on a Zoom call, so nobody can say that I twisted your arm, right?
We are being live streamed, so they can come back. Is everyone in favor of us approaching the town as the task force? Perfect. So I will look after that piece. And then to go back to the sponsorship conversation, what are people's thoughts? Is it something worth moving ahead on? What would it look like?
With all the changes, what would we really be sponsoring?
I think originally we talked about prizes and different things for organizations that had the best something. I'm actually very comfortable not looking at sponsorship at all. And oh, Nicole, you have a comment?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. I wanted to throw out too, I was talking to Kristen and May from the FCSS here. They're doing a scavenger hunt, and they've been putting calls out to a bunch of the businesses in town trying to get some sponsorship and involvement from them with regard to the scavenger hunt, and have been having a hard time getting anything or information from those businesses in town. So I don't know if we want to duplicate with the mental health stuff. So I wanted to make sure that I throw that into the box.
Awesome, thank you. No, I think that's important. For us, I almost, and I'm willing to be challenged here, but I think doing prizes or like doing that sponsorship piece adds a bit of a layer of complexity to what we're doing as well. If we're going to be like rating how well people are doing their mental health, and like we'd have to have a matrix and different things, and how would we give out prizes and what guarantees a prize. And so I don't know what people's thoughts are. I'm comfortable leaving it and just promoting it and having people post pictures and doing it of their own free will, not in search of prizes. But
I
what do-
agree. I think that we want them to do it for the intrinsic reasons that making a difference rather than for a prize.
I think our local businesses have got lots on their plate right now, and as do all of us. But it's probably a tough time to go and approach for sponsorship when they're just trying to keep their doors open.
yeah,
And I did run into that when we were looking for sponsorship for the coldest night of the year. A lot of organizations that normally sponsor our food drives and give donations for food drives and support us every year. We're like, we can't this year. We don't have the financial ability to do it like we have in the past. So
Yeah.
All right, so it sounds like we're all in consensus to just leave that for the moment. And I think if we do the stress ball thing and we drop them off at some different businesses to give out, that might be our small way of helping businesses too. If we let people know that you can pick them up at this place, like it might just encourage people to do some traffic to some of our small businesses as well.
And if people do post pictures or anything like that, we can say, come pick up your stress ball or go to this location. They have some stress balls if you didn't get one as well.
Yeah, no, I really like that. So in terms of the whole mental health week, month, engagement extravaganza that we're doing, is there anything that we may have missed or overlooked, or that you feel is important that we pull together over the next few weeks?
I still wonder if we should make some phone calls just to key people around town that we would like to make sure they know about it and the stress balls. And I would call the mental health office and see if they'd like to have some balls over there and let them know what we're up to.
Yeah, we could definitely do that. I would love some help if people wanted to call out and do some of that piece. We were going to do primarily through email, like hit our interagency list, those kind of avenues. But if there's people that we should contact by phone, that would be awesome. And that might be a place that we could get some assistance from.
Mm-hmm. Maybe right around the time that you're going to send it out, we could each pick some names and let you know who we're going to call.
Sure. Found out, like just send out an email and people can kind of sign up who they'll take. Is that what you're thinking, Susan?
That would be good.
So we could take that list right from our interagency, Nicole, and pull out like the contact and just ban that out. We can go through and pick out some key people. Okay. Perfect. So we'll send that out by email, hopefully we're getting close. I guess it'd be the end of next week that we would do that by. And then phone calls can kind of happen that last week of April to get people on board. Are you thinking businesses as well, Susan, or more social agencies?
We could do businesses too if we have connections and people respond better to a phone call and really pay attention. I think, is the town doing a media release or do we need to?
Yeah. So we'll probably be doing, I don't know if they'll lump it into one or would do two separate, but we'll be doing, Nicole?
For the, I think with the businesses, we might want to leave that to the FCSS scavenger hunt one because they've already put out emails and stuff to all of them. And they're going to try to reach out to them to be co-hosts for that event, because there's going to be 2 different events kind of on Facebook at the same time, but we're going to kind of cross promote them too. So I don't know if we want to put businesses into both.
I wasn't thinking for co-hosting. I was
Okay,
thinking for dropping off stress balls to have stress.
that's perfect.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yes.
Yeah, our co-hosts, I think we would keep to the social, like our social.
Yep.
activity. And then businesses, we could let them know about the initiative and that we have stress balls, and could let people know that they could pick up there.
Sounds good.
That's okay.
Or what if we're going to a restaurant? We could take a handful of balls and give them to the owner or something.
Yeah, we could definitely get balls because we'll need help to get these out as well. Was council interested, Susan, when you talked about going out to different places and dropping off?
I haven't actually talked to them about that yet.
Oh,
We haven't really had a chance because everything's been formal. Perhaps Monday night we have a meeting, I might be able to, or once I'm sure what we're doing, I can send them an email too.
okay. Because we'll have to divide and conquer getting the balls out there as well. So we can even make up, if we get 1,000, we can divvy them up kind of between members and have some drop off locations and see if we can conquer the world a little bit that few days before the mental health week.
Sounds good.
And then in terms of media releases, yes, we will have those going out for sure. I'm not sure if it'll be 1 or 2 going out, but for sure 1 with David Irvine and information about what the task force is doing. So we should get some good media coverage too. Beautiful. Anything else on there before we move ahead? All right, so next we have support and resources promotion. We will be continuing to get information out throughout the month of May, but similar to what we've been doing all along in terms of what supports, information, and resources are out there. We're also working with communications. So when I mentioned the 31 tips that'll be going out, she's going to be making up these really cute kind of cards that'll have the tip on it. And then we're also going to have where to go for help on the bottom of every tip. So we'll be featuring, and I'm just going by memory here, I want to say the Distress Center as a place to call if you need help, and the Youth Helpline. I think that might be it. There might, and was it 211? Nicole's shaking your head at me.
I'm trying to remember what I put on, and I haven't sent it to Julie yet.
But if we get a new name for the app as well, Nicole, that would be really to put on the bottom of it.
Yeah, that was the other one that I had in there, was the Distress Center, the Connected Teen, and then the CARES app. So if we have that, and if the CARES app is the like caresapp.com or whatever, as soon as we know that, we can put that in.
Perfect. So that'll be going out every day through social media, and that'll be one of the Facebook pages that all the partners will hopefully be linked to. So this information will be going out community-wide to tons of different people. And then we'll continue to put out the pages in the newspaper, the need help, all of those resource pages are going to continue as well.
So do we automatically see those tips on our Facebook, or do we have to go to the town page to find it? How does that work?
I'm going to let you jump in here, Nicole.
For sure. So if you say you're going to the event or you're interested in the event and you're on there, that stuff will start to show up in your news feed. You'll see it on there. And then the companies or the organizations that have the co-host ability, should start to show up kind of with their names attached too. So potentially if you like a lot of the organizations that are co-hosts, you'd probably be seeing it quite a bit in your news feed, but that's a good thing. And then the organizations can also they can share them out even further and that kind of thing. Because it also depends with the Facebook algorithms, how often you see stuff. It depends how often you interact with it in order to see it as well. So,
But if each one of us sees it and spreads it, it's a good thing.
yep, 100%. Yep. Share. Mhm.
Any other ideas or comments around the resources and support information that we're hoping to get out there? Do you like the idea of having the information on the bottom of each tip for some of those crisis numbers? Yeah, I see some heads nodding. Awesome. All right. Well, I think we're done with mental health stuff. Next, we have the public engagement survey and the organizational survey to talk about. So we were having discussions around putting the survey out again. And at the last meeting, it came up that we should probably take a look and see if there's questions that shouldn't be on there. Do we trim it down a little bit? And what do we do moving forward? Did everyone have a chance to review the survey? I see some yeses, some no's. Should we go through it question by question? Is that the easiest way to do this as a group? Yeah, okay.
Kim, we also, do you have Jeff's input on there as well? Do you have it with you?
I can open up my email.
Okay. He also says to say hello to the group for him.
Nicole, I might need you to forward it to me again so it's at the top.
Kim, I'm going to have to leave early today too, because I got a land use bylaw workshop for 3 hours.
Oh, that sounds really exciting, Susan.
I kind of got to be awake.
All right, well, we'll run through this pretty quickly and get everyone's input. So the first question that we had, how would you say your mental health and personal well-being was prior to the COVID-19 pandemic? Should we do how about we do thumbs up, keep, thumbs down, and then we can have a discussion around it? Does that sound fair? So question 1, how are people feeling? We got 1, 2 up, 3 ups, and 2 downs. Where are people?
I just wonder how much they're going to remember how they were now that so much time has gone back. That's what Shara's thinking too.
Yeah, that's exactly my thoughts.
Yeah, actually, that's a valid point. I go back and forth on this one. I know we were talking about reducing questions. I actually kind of want to add a question here. And I'm open to reducing further down the page. But one of the things that I think we missed on those first 2 surveys was I like finding out how would you say it was prior to COVID-19, but I'd be interested in following up with a question saying, how would you say your mental health and personal well-being is now? Because where my interest would lie is, even if it's perception of where they were before, it's getting them to rate the before and then where they are right now, I think would give us some better data in terms of what has this impact been. But open to what other people think as well.
That question isn't covered anywhere else in the survey. Okay.
I see where you're coming from. You can't compare them if you don't have both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think it might give us some interesting data to go, even if their mental health maybe wasn't as good as I say it was, or, right? They can't remember exactly. To see that people rate their mental health as like, we were seeing excellent, very good, and good. And now, where if it was like poor, fair, you know, like just to see the extent of that before and after would be.
Yeah, I can see the validity in adding that question.
People are okay if we humor me on this one? Okay. Question number 2 is, how concerned are you about the following impacts? And then we had a whole list. Physical health, mental health, stress, vulnerable family members' health, overloading the health system, stress from confinement, loss of routine, uncertainty about future, accessing essential goods, increase in disagreements and conflict, and violence. How do people feel about this question? It's a keeper? Okay. And that was the same for Jeff as well. He had that one. I can't find that email though, Nicole. I know you just sent it to me, but it doesn't show up well in my.
That's okay. I have it. I can let you know. Yep.
Okay. I think his first one was number 3 that he
His
wanted.
first one was 3. Yeah.
Okay.
What
So
about Terry? I didn't see Terry giving an up or down there.
who, sorry?
Terry.
Oh, she was enough. Number 3 is, what other concerns do you have regarding the COVID-19 pandemic? What do people think? All right. Look, we scrapped one. Look at us reducing it, you guys. All right. Number 4, thinking about the current situation, have you experienced any of the following? Feeling helpless, loss of interest, change in the quality of sleep, more irritable, anxiety, increased use of alcohol and drugs, and none of the above. How do people feel about this one?
I'll answer for Jeff.
Was it a yes there? Okay.
Yeah.
One of the things that we talked about on our team is maybe getting rid of the other and just leaving it as we haven't got a whole lot of data from that. So if we just take out that open-ended one and leave it as you just tick boxes, no place to write. Are people okay with that? Okay. Number 5, how much does the following negatively impact your state of mind? News appearing in the media, managing my daily schedule, financial situation, fear of being infected, guidelines, situation of someone close to you, or concerns about personal safety.
Do you think the media stuff does us any good to know that?
Not anymore. I think it was okay initially. Like, I think it was something important. And I actually think we use that information really well. But I think at this point, we know that the media is having a significant.
There's not a damn thing we can do about it.
No, I think though it did help us guide some of our communications out. So we really focused on that positive and changing that messaging. So I do think some good came out of it, but.
So is the last part of the question still valid? I forget now what it said.
There was a whole list. So managing daily schedule, financial, infecting someone or someone else, instructions from authorities, concerns about personal safety. So it was, how much has this negatively affected your state of mind? Should we do the thumbs up vote? Don't look at anyone else. Just put your thumb up how you're feeling.
I can't thumbs down, but I'm thumbsing down.
Sandra, you were thumbs up. Are you okay with removing that, or is there anything that you worry that we wouldn't be gathering there?
The thing that I notice on this one is that the first time that we ask about financial, and I think the financial piece, just knowing about that is, it maybe not in this format, maybe we address it elsewhere, but I kind of am curious to see how people are feeling about their financial situation a year plus into this. So that was all, that's just one piece. And if we talk about it elsewhere, then I'm fine with letting it go.
We do hit the financial piece later on.
Okay.
Pretty thoroughly. So we'll take a
Okay.
look at if there's something that you think is missing. We can definitely come back and make sure it's incorporated.
Okay.
Number 6, then I think we could also get rid of it was what else has had a negative impact on your state of mind. Number 7, where do you currently live? Community or neighborhood? Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Thumbs down.
Carrie, you were a thumbs up. Sorry, Lauren.
Oh, I said thumbs down. I had written that question 33 and 7 are basically the same.
Yeah. Yeah. For my thumbs up people, how do you feel about removing it, or is this something you're very passionate about keeping?
Not passionate. I should have reviewed it. I know there was 2 the same.
Terry?
Yeah, I'm okay about removing it. I was just thinking about like neighborhood work. Knowing where you need to put an emphasis on strategizing for different events, but.
And that was originally why we put that in. Our neighborhood work is completely paused, like for now. So that's why I said we could remove.
As I said it out loud, I was answering my own question. Anyway, we don't need to go finding more work for ourselves.
So let's get rid of that one. Number 8, how would you describe your sense of belonging to your local community? Up or down? All right, I think we're unanimously up. In times of stress and need, what are your top 3 networks of support?
I like it, but I don't think it's going to change, but it probably helps people to know themselves who their support is too.
Yeah, and Sandra was a no middle. We talked about this one and went back and forth on it as well. The only reason that we ended up thumbs upping was because it was different for different demographics when we ended up splitting out the data, which was kind of interesting. Seniors had a different support than families did. So it might help us target different places and information for groups. So everyone's good if we keep that one. Do you have access to technology to connect with family, friends, or other social groups? I see lots of down, couple ups. I have 2 ups. Talk to me, uppers.
I think we need to know how to reach out more. If they have access to internet or not, then we know if we need to use newspaper more or other social media.
We do ask a question near the end. Where do you get your information from? That kind of like splits that out a little bit. This one's a tricky one because we're putting it out like mostly on social media. So we get a pretty skewed response. And I don't know if the response, like I think we're getting like 1% don't have access. I would venture to say that that's not a realistic percentage, but I think because of the limits to us putting out the survey, that's what we're going to get. I think it would look super different. Like, do you remember the old days where we would be in a park with paper and get people to fill it out, and we'd be out in the community or at Spray Lakes or at the farmers market. And I think we'd have very different responses, but with putting it out virtually, I think our results are so skewed.
I also think it doesn't have the follow-up question, do you want that technology? Because like my father-in-law is totally against it. He's moving into an independent living and he's like, I am not going to FaceTime you guys. Do not buy me an iPad. So
Really?
Yeah, like I don't do that stuff. So, I mean, it doesn't have the follow-up there either, because those people that are saying they don't have that technology to connect might not want the technology to connect either, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. So overall, what do you guys think? We convinced Sandra? Natalia, you're okay with removing it? Perfect. What about number 11? Do you feel that you have the mental health support you need? Up, up, up. Perfect, unanimous. What about, are you aware of the mental health resources in our community? People are staying up. Okay. Have you or anyone in your household lost their job because of the COVID-19 pandemic? Since the COVID-19 pandemic, how has it been for you or your household to meet its financial needs? This was the financial one I was talking about, Sandra. Perfect. If the current public health response to the COVID-19 pandemic doesn't change for the next few months, what will happen to your financial situation? Oh, we got lots of uppers. You guys think that's an important one? Okay.
I don't think it's important. Terry, can you tell us why?
I think the questions previous already answer whether or not they have any financial concerns. So to me, it just seemed like it was, if we're trying to tighten it up by taking one of those out, would just, because we would already know that in the previous question, whether or not they had financial concerns.
So one, yeah.
And we talked.
We've also asked if they've had access to resources, so it would be yes or no. So, but.
And wasn't it in the past, didn't the feedback was mostly I don't know or nothing for that question?
Yeah, it was. I forgot about that.
Yeah, it was neither more difficult nor easier was the majority of our responses to that question.
And I think with some of the benefits that are introduced, like for some people that benefited them and assisted. So if, you know, things like that were to kick in or ramp up, then it would be an I don't know. I could see that answer.
Bye, Natalia. I think part of my thoughts around here, because I was a no too, is we put this in initially. We didn't know how long the pandemic was actually going to last for, because we're like, oh, if this goes on for another few months, right? But we're like a year and a month in already. So I don't know how relevant it is. Like, but
I'm okay with taking it out. I changed my mind.
Should we do another vote and see where we're at? Make sure we're good. All right, number 15. Look at that, leading by consensus, you guys. Number 16, how likely is it in your household that food will run out before you receive money to buy more? Oh, we got 2 no's, 2 yeses, 3 no's. 3 yeses. Sandra, you're...
How is it so far? All I've learned is that their food hampers haven't gone up like I thought they were going to, but what has anybody else gotten from that question?
Not tons. I just wonder if it's something, I know Jan isn't here to represent the food piece of it. So I could reach out to the Activettes and see what their thoughts are about removing it. I think some of it well, we haven't received high numbers at all. I don't know if people's financial situations are going to change, if we're going to see an increase. I know Terry might be able to speak to like some of the financial stuff that's rolling in through the resource center, but we're starting to see the fallout at this point in terms of utility companies aren't deferring payments anymore. They're actually calling in for payments. And that's kind of happening all over. So I don't know if, 1 year later that we would start to see an increase. Does it help the active vets prepare? I actually don't know.
Yeah, and the reason I was saying yes, I know because we've seen that there hasn't been a need, but we had all of this CERB, and then we had parents working from home, and so they didn't have the childcare expenses. So just of late, with the CERB no longer being, and then the funds that are currently available, they're a lot more difficult to get. They're doing a lot more screening with the second phase, just from some of the clients I've had in. And to what Kim was saying, as of it's either today or tomorrow, all of the back payments for utilities are all going to be called. And I've talked to some folks that work in that industry, and a typical amount in the past pre-COVID was maybe, I know, don't quote me, I could be wrong, but if my memory's correct, it was like 300 to 3, like now it's like 8,000, 3,000. And so some of the clients I've got in now today, like it's like $3,000 in phone bills. Like people have been suspending payment on payment. And I don't know if that's a consensus of what's out there. It's because, we have a very small snapshot for some of the folks that we see, but it's a lot worse this week in terms of their financial situation than what it's been in the previous months. So
part of me wonders if they're just not reaching out. These are new people that have never accessed a food hamper, and so the regulars are accessing, but new people just haven't quite gone there yet. So maybe it is still valuable.
Well, and I think to your point, Susan, I think some of our folks maybe don't have natural support. So lots of, perhaps some of those whom we haven't seen have, natural supports like families, aunts, uncles, moms, dads. Yeah. So I think the more natural supports you have in the community, the better supported you are. And often, not always, but many times, some of the people we see they have those, they're limited in terms of natural supports. Yeah.
All right, should we redo this one and see where people are at? All right, food question. All right, I'll keep it in. Number 17, current housing situation. Oh, what are your thoughts, Sandra? You're good? All right, so that was consensus. Number 18, how likely is it that you'll need to move within the next few months? We had a bit of a conversation, and we're proposing a small minor change to this question. Not changing the context or anything, but just shortening it. How likely is it that you will need to move within the next few months? ? And then a follow-up, if likely, why? Because that's of interest to our team. What we're finding, and we want to just get some data on in the community, is a lot of homes are being sold right now that have basement suites in them. So the people that are living in these basement suites, when the homes are being sold, they're being left without shelter and a need to find somewhere else to live. So that's one of the things that we're hoping to get information on as well.
I'd be really interested in that because that's what I'm seeing so much right now is people applying for CSHO that are saying their places are, their landlords are selling. And some of them are getting new landlords and then the rent's going up $150 a month. That's also happening a fair amount. Or they're having to go back into a year-long lease again. And that's scary for a lot of people right now. It's the real estate market is driving a lot of uncertainty for renters, for sure.
And then the homeowners are going up in size. So many people are moving because they're getting a bigger place, which I'm hoping to do in the next month. I really don't like my place during COVID. It's so small.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would be helpful to know why they're moving.
Yeah. You guys are okay with that? It's just a small tweak. I don't think it will get tons of responses there. I think in the last survey, only 6 or 7% indicated that they might need to move, but we just thought, let's try. Number 19, have you applied for any of the following financial relief services? Check all that apply. Got some ups, some downs. Who was my uppers? Sandra, you're an upper.
Yeah, I just feel like that's just good all around information to know. It's not absolutely necessary, but I think it's good information to know.
Does it make a difference, do you think, knowing exactly what they've applied for? Or could it be shortened to like, yes, I have applied for benefits, or no, I haven't, or I haven't needed, or no, I haven't qualified? Or do you like to know the specific benefits applied?
No, I don't think you need to know specifics.
What do we do with that information? Kim, does it help you with anything?
The reason that we put it in at first is we thought it would help us gain a bit of an understanding on how many people. I was mostly interested in deferring mortgages, who's deferring utilities, who's deferring those kind of payments that are going to be called back is what we were interested in. And just, it doesn't really make a difference to us what they've applied for. And we also found between the first survey and the second survey, people actually had no idea what they had applied for, and they checked off different things. Like the same people had checked off like different things, both surveys. So I don't know the relevance of like having it all broken out and listed, but if it's of interest, we could shorten and just say, have you applied for financial relief services? Yes. No, I haven't needed financial relief services, or no, I don't qualify.
Sounds good.
Yeah, okay. That's an easy peasy one, because yeah, trying to compare, we just found people, I don't even think they remembered what they did the previous time. So.
And a lot of those deferrals are being called back now, they're ending. So it's not relative in, I mean, I know it's past tense, have you, but.
Number 20, thinking to after the COVID-19 pandemic, what is your outlook on your financial stability? We got 2 no's, 2 yeses, 3 no's, 2 yeses.
Let's just say no.
No.
Lauren, you're a no?
Somewhere.
No, yeah.
Okay, so we're 4-3. Does anyone want to advocate strongly, or we're crossing her?
Just wanted to say that it just gives you an idea how positive people are if they've given up altogether.
The mayor has take out the fill in the blank portion out.
So tell us why.
I'm not on one way or the other, and whatever you decide.
Did we leave the social question in? Oh, we haven't got there yet. Long-term, ignore me. I do see what you're definitely saying. It's more of a long-term outlook. I wonder if, I don't think we saw a lot of difference if someone was struggling financially right now, their long-term outlook was pessimistic, right? Okay, so we're good to cross majority rules. We didn't come to consensus on that. That was a majority decision, you guys. Number 21, would you visit a business or organization that is not considered essential if they had good measures in place? Perfect. 22, what would help you feel safe when returning to non-essential shopping? The poor economic recovery task force. Do you own a business in the town of Cochrane as your primary source of income? And that's the whole big box question. Do you have ideas or suggestions on programs that could be offered to keep your spirits up during the COVID-19 pandemic? 1, 2, 3 yeses. Oh, Terry's a yes. Nicole's a no. Sandra's a yes. Oh, Jeff, you're Jeff? Okay. All right.
I am Jeff in this situation.
Jeff has been overruled.
Many times already.
How do you prefer to participate in programs, in person or virtually? Oh, I'm overruled. Me and Jeff got ousted.
I think because regardless of it, how you prefer, right now you don't really have the option.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, completely. How do you feel about the long-term future of Cochrane social well-being? Oh, Susan got outvoted. Unless you want to advocate very strongly, Susan.
Not really, no, I'm just not sure what to do with that, but
I think that was more the like optimism where are people at. This one, we did see a huge degree of change between the first survey to the second survey, where the first survey people were still feeling like some level of happiness and excitement. And in the second survey, we saw more anger, concern, worry, sadness. So I think it's almost a measure of where the community's at.
gives them an outlet that somebody's asking them to.
Yeah.
Good.
27, what has changed for the better since the COVID-19 pandemic? Well, yeah, I don't think we.
Sort of in between here too.
Before,
Pardon me?
it kind of helped us before, didn't it, to realize what was important to people and
Yeah. It was exactly, the responses were exactly the same between the first survey and the second survey. But actually, I was a get rid of it girl, but I actually, maybe it's nice to have an opportunity for people to actually reflect on some of those positive things. So we're not, the whole survey isn't just like, how bad are your finances and how many people lost their job? Like it might give people a chance to actually do some self-reflection on some of the good things that have happened.
there might be some new things that we never thought of before.
Yeah. And then what has changed for the worse? Yeah. Oh.
I think we have a lot of negative, like a lot of areas where people can weigh in on, you know, their financial situation, how connected they are to community. So I don't know if we would need to ask.
Probably wouldn't get anything.
It would just tie back to your other questions. So
yeah,
it's a lot of extra data to go through.
Sure.
If we have what's changed for the better, does it not make sense to also have the worse in there as well? That's okay.
I think
Maybe-
we kind of know what's changed for the worse, right? Like the little things that people can reflect on that have made positive impacts in their life is a good thing for them to reflect on. I think it's an obvious question on what's worse, right? Like that loss of connection and all those kinds of things. I don't think it would help, but I even think just having that question in there takes that positive spin for the what's changed for the better.
Sorry to interrupt, but Nicole, I have to go. Will you still have quorum when I leave?
Yes.
Good. Well, the best is that. Are you going to send it out for review before it goes live, or?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Great.
And we'll review the organizational one next time, Susan.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
So we're slashing 28, right? Just make
yeah.
sure. Thanks.
And the rest are pretty much demographic. So age, how do people feel? Overall good. Gender. Shared, you're good? Okay, sorry. Identify as. Why don't I throw it out and say, are there any demographic questions that you don't think are relevant? That might be a quicker way.
The mayor had no feedback on the demographic questions.
Okay. I think they're pretty good for the most part. They're pretty thorough. I did go back and forth going, do we need to know? Do we need to know? But I also think some of these demographics let us know who are we targeting through this survey, and what population are we hitting? And I think it's important for us to look at this and like see if we can diversify our audience and the population that we're hitting. So just keep people good with status quo. And then we also, so number 40 says this is the second survey distributed. We would change that to this is the third survey and ask, did you complete the survey in June 2020? Did you complete the survey in November, December 2020? And that just helps us understand how many people are repeat survey customers. And it does kind of help explain some of the data. Number 41, how do you find information regarding services, programs, and events? That means something to you, Shara? So I think to all of us, it helps us just know where we go. And then please provide any other feedback or comments. And I think keeping a space, we haven't got tons in there, lots of thank yous, but it just allows a space for anything that people feel we may have missed. And then we will ask people to provide their contact information as well again. This is an important piece because it helps us know if people had done it before, if they provided their information before, and we can do some actual like comparative data. We also talked about sending this third survey out to the same people that completed the first and second survey, that we have their like actual real data. So we'll have a year of like real data collected from 27 people, I believe, right? Yeah. So, which is kind of cool. And that's that. And we will never make it through the organizational survey today because it is 2:21. But what I would encourage everybody to do is take a look, and then next time we can go through and do the same yay, nay, thumbs up, thumbs down kind of thing and get through that as well. So the only thing left, oh, sorry, Nicole.
That's okay. I was just gonna say I'm gonna resend the org survey because the one that I had sent out was a previous version that I didn't have the Word version of the new one that we had gone through and changed already. So I will send out a new organizational survey to look at versus the other one.
Perfect.
I have too many surveys on the go.
And we have a few minutes left, so why don't we do round table? Who wants to start? Shara wants to start.
Well, we should have our food shed in place this week. That doesn't necessarily mean it'll be up and running, but we should have it in place, and then we'll slowly do the process of getting it up and running. We're not going to be able to do a grand opening as we had wanted, but we'll do something to celebrate it. And then, as many of you probably heard, we postponed last week's food drive just based on the community spread. Most of the feedback we received was encouraging. There were a few people not so much, but we'd rather have a little bit of backlash for doing something and keeping the community safe than the opposite effect happening. And it was not a decision that was made lightly. The Activettes and ourselves were back and forth over and over again to make sure we made the right decision for the community. So we will be doing that food drive in June, on June 12th. And everything is go ahead for our May food drive. What we'll do is we'll figure out how we're going to sort. But for right now, collection is our key focus with our volunteers, and what happens after, we'll figure it out as we're closer to the date and we know what the situation is in the community at that point in time.
And super smart decision, Shara. Like, none of these decisions to cancel are easy, right? So, and you know, in May, there might even be opportunities for outdoor sorting sites. Your weather's a little better, right? So
That's what we're hoping for, May and June, that we could sort outside and have it more of a community celebration spaced out.
yeah, no, that's awesome. And congrats on the food shed. That's exciting. What about you, Sandra?
Sorry, my mouse wasn't cooperating there. You know, Big Hill Haven continues to receive lots of calls. Patty continues to be very busy with that, and you know, the Haven is going well, and we've got some plans in the works for some fundraisers. But that will also depend a little bit on where our restrictions go, of course, into the future. When we've got plans firmed up, we'll certainly be looking for people to participate. And that's kind of about it right now.
Awesome, thank you. Terry. Thanks, Lauren. Do you have any updates that you want to give us quick?
No, nothing much. I think we've been keeping busy. So but I'll leave it at that.
Lauren, it makes me so happy to hear like that you're at home and the sounds that come from houses. Take care. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Sorry, Kim, I couldn't unmute. Now I did. My computer's been really wonky today. Yeah, I'm hoping that what we're seeing this week is not going to be a trend. And I'm hoping it's more just incidental. But to Sandra's point, yeah, lots of issues around housing. people, being evicted for not paying rent, not having enough money for rent, funds not coming in, being cut off from CERB, and houses going up for sale. So lots of issues around housing and unpaid bills. So yeah.
I think we're getting into, do you remember at the beginning, we're like, it's going to come, there's going to be that tipping point. And I think this is the start, like the very, very beginning of that tipping point.
I think so too. Yeah. Because all of the government programming is ending, and in the ways that it can continue, the way that you can qualify, it's very tight. It's not as open-ended as it was in the beginning, where they just wanted to get money out to people. Now they're trying to claw some things back. So
yeah, it'll be really interesting. Our shift for the task force, depending on what happens, because we've only been extended until June, of course, but if we do get extended, that might end up being more of that focus, is that strategic, how do we do this as a community, right? But, well, thank you, everybody. We're a small but mighty group at the end. We've slowly dwindled down. We will get you all the information that you need for like the mental health stuff. We'll send out the new organizational survey. I don't know what else we were supposed to do. All the communication stuff. We'll get that out to everybody as soon as we can. And yeah, just please help us share the word as broad and far as we can. And with David Irvine, if you can just help tell as many people as you can and log on that evening and join us to watch, that would be awesome. All right, well, take care, everyone. It's funny, these are like, it's like you guys are all from my office. So it's like we're having a staff meeting here. But I will